The phone call came on a Wednesday morning while I was reviewing satellite imagery for a classified Department of Defense contract. Mom's name appeared on my screen and I almost sent it to voicemail. Our conversations these days were brief, transactional. Birthdays acknowledged, holidays coordinated, the bare minimum required to maintain the illusion of family. But something made me answer. "Sophie, finally," Mom said, her voice tight with that particular strain of maternal disappointment I'd learned to recognize at age 12. "I've been trying to reach you for 2 days. I've been working." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I'm calling about Tyler's graduation party. Saturday at the country club. We need to discuss the guest list." I set down my stylus, the satellite image forgotten. "What about it?" "Well, Tyler's girlfriend Ashley is coming, obviously. And her family. Her father is Richard Hendricks, Hendricks & Associates? The venture capital firm? Very prestigious. Her mother sits on the board of 3 Fortune 500 companies. These are extremely successful people, Sophie." "Okay. And Tyler is being very strategic about this party. It's not just a celebration, it's a networking opportunity. He's trying to make the right impression, especially with Ashley's father. There's potential for funding there for his startup." My stomach tightened. "Mom, just say whatever you called to say." She took a breath. "Your father, and I think it would be best if he didn't attend." The words landed with the dull, expected thud of something you've been bracing for your entire life. "You're uninviting me from my brother's graduation party." "Don't say it like that. It's just that Ashley's family is going to be evaluating Tyler on everything. His connections, his background, his family's status. They're going to ask questions about you and we won't know what to say." "What to say about what?" "Sophie, you're 35 years old and you still rent that tiny apartment in Arlington. You drive a 12-year-old Mazda. You work some government job that you can never explain because it's classified, or whatever. No one even knows what you actually do." "I work in geospatial intelligence for the Department of Defense. Which means nothing to people like the Hendricks family. They're going to wonder why our daughter hasn't achieved more. Why you're still single, still renting, still driving that embarrassing car. It reflects poorly on your father and me. On Tyler." I watched the satellite image on my screen. A real-time feed from a reconnaissance mission I'd helped plan. Right now, teams were using my analysis to prevent an international incident. But to my mother I was an embarrassment. "Tyler agrees with this?" I asked quietly. "Tyler is focused on his future. He's about to graduate from Wharton, Sophie. Top of his class. His startup is getting serious investor interest. He's dating a woman whose family could change his entire trajectory. He can't afford distractions. Distractions like his sister. We'll do something separate. Just the 4 of us, quiet, low-key. You'd probably be more comfortable anyway. These country club events, all that networking and small talk, it's not really your thing." Dad's voice rumbled in the background. "Is she being difficult about this?" "I'm handling it," Mom said away from the phone. Then back to me. "Your father agrees this is for the best. We're trying to support Tyler's ambitions. Surely you can understand that." For a long moment I said nothing. I thought about the past 3 years. About the late-night calls from Tyler when his startup was struggling. About his casual mentions of needing funding, needing connections, needing someone who believed in his vision. About the anonymous angel investor who'd appeared with $3.8 million right when Tyler's company was about to fold. "Understood," I said finally. "I knew you'd be reasonable about this. You've always been the understanding one. We'll plan that family dinner soon, okay?" "Sure, Mom." I hung up and sat motionless for exactly 30 seconds. Then I pulled up my encrypted messaging app and typed a message to my wealth manager. "Sophie, 9:47 a.m. James. Execute immediate withdrawal of all capital from Anderson Digital Solutions. Full liquidation. No grace period." The response came within minutes. "James, 9:49 a.m. That's $3.8 million in active funding. This will effectively collapse their operations. Are you certain?" "Sophie, 9:50 a.m. Completely certain. Process the paperwork within the hour. I want confirmation by end of day." "James, 9:51 a.m. Consider it done." I set my phone face down and returned to work. On my screen the satellite continued its silent orbit, watching, recording, seeing everything. Just like I'd been doing for years. The path to $290 million doesn't usually start in a double-wide trailer in rural Pennsylvania, but that's where mine began. My parents weren't poor exactly. Dad managed a hardware store. Mom worked part-time at the local library. We had enough food, enough clothes, enough to get by. But we existed in that particular space of working-class anxiety where every unexpected expense was a crisis and upward mobility seemed like a fairy tale. Tyler was born when I was 7. From the moment he arrived, the family narrative shifted. Tyler was the golden child, the smart one, the one who would break the cycle. I was just Sophie, reliable and steady, expected to help out and not cause problems. I didn't mind at first. I liked taking care of Tyler, reading to him, helping him with homework. When I showed an aptitude for computers and mathematics, Dad said it was cute. When I got a full scholarship to MIT, Mom asked if I was sure I wouldn't prefer community college closer to home. Someone needs to think practically, she'd said. Big dreams are nice, but Tyler's going to need support when it's his turn. I went to MIT anyway. The work was brutal and beautiful. Orbital mechanics, satellite systems, computational modeling, advanced cryptography. I devoured it all. By my junior year, I was working on classified projects with professors who had security clearances. By graduation, I had 3 job offers from defense contractors and a 4th from the NSA. I chose the Department of Defense. The work was invisible but essential. Analyzing satellite imagery, modeling geopolitical scenarios, identifying threats before they materialized. It required clearance levels most people didn't know existed. It paid extremely well for expertise that could prevent wars. By 25, I was earning $350,000 annually. By 30, I'd invested strategically in defense tech startups, aerospace companies and cybersecurity firms. My clearance level gave me insight into emerging technologies years before they went public. I didn't have insider information, that would be illegal. But I understood the landscape in ways civilian investors never could. My portfolio grew exponentially. By 35, I was worth $290 million. My family knew none of this. To them, I was still Sophie from the trailer park, working some boring government job, too socially awkward to find a husband, too unmotivated to achieve anything notable. Tyler, meanwhile, had become the family success story. Full ride to Wharton, I'd anonymously endowed the scholarship. Startup launched right out of college with my seed funding. Dating a woman from a powerful family, because his company's success had made him attractive to venture capital circles. Every achievement he claimed was built on my money. And now they didn't want me at his graduation party because I'd reflect poorly. The first domino fell at 11:23 a.m. My phone buzzed with a text from Tyler. Sophie, WF is going on? My CFO just got a letter about our angel investor withdrawing funding. Do you know anything about this? I didn't respond. At 12:45 p.m., this isn't funny. Our entire runway depends on that capital. We've got payroll in 2 weeks. Sophie, please tell me you know something. I muted his thread. At 2:17 p.m. Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. At 2:19 p.m. Dad called. Voicemail. At 2:33 p.m. Tyler called. I answered. Sophie, thank God. Listen, something insane is happening. Our angel investor, the one who gave us $3.8 million 3 years ago, is pulling out. Completely. Effective immediately. Our lawyer says they're within their rights because of some exit clause we signed, but this is going to destroy us. That's unfortunate, I said, watching another satellite image load on my screen. Unfortunate? Sophie, this is catastrophic. We've built everything around having this funding. Our expansion plans, our hiring, our product roadmap, all of it depends on this capital. Without it, we're going to have to lay off most of our staff and probably shut down within 90 days. Sounds like you should have diversified your funding sources. Silence. Then, why are you being like this? Like what? Cold. Distant. Like you don't care that my company is collapsing. I care exactly as much as my family cares about me. More silence. This is about the graduation party, isn't it? Mom told you not to come. She did. Sophie, that wasn't my decision. That was Mom and Ashley's family and all this complicated social stuff. You know how she gets about appearances. I do know. That's exactly the problem. Look, I get it, okay? You're upset. But this is my company we're talking about. 23 people work for me. They have families, mortgages, kids. You can't let them suffer because of a family argument. I'm not making them suffer. You are. You built a company on unstable funding and you're about to graduate from one of the best business schools in the world without understanding basic financial sustainability. This investor has been reliable for 3 years. We had no reason to think. He stopped abruptly. Wait, Sophie. The angel investor. It was anonymous. Structured through a bunch of shell companies and investment vehicles. Our lawyer could never figure out who it actually was. I said nothing. Oh my God. Sophie. You're the angel investor. That's an interesting theory. It's not a theory, it's a fact. Who else would pull funding the same day Mom uninvited you from my party? Who else would? His voice cracked. You've been funding my company this whole time. For 3 years. $3.8 million. That was you. Tyler. And I didn't know. None of us knew. We thought you were struggling in some low-level government job while I was out here building a startup. And the whole time you were the one keeping my company alive. He laughed bitterly. Mom said you'd reflect poorly on us. That you hadn't achieved anything. And you're literally the only reason I have anything to achieve. Had, I corrected quietly. Had anything to achieve. You're really going to do this? You're going to destroy my company because your feelings were hurt. I'm withdrawing my investment from a company whose founder considers me an embarrassment. That's not revenge. That's just sound business judgment. Sophie, please. I'm begging you. Don't do this. I'll talk to Mom and Dad. I'll make sure you're invited to the party. Front row seat, VIP treatment, whatever you want. I don't want to go to your party, Tyler. Then what do you want? I wanted a family that valued me. I got my answer. I hung up. The voicemails started piling up within the hour. Mom hysterical. Dad angry and confused. Tyler alternating between panic and desperate apologies. Even Ashley called, her voice dripping with the kind of charm wealthy people use when they want something. Sophie, hi. We haven't officially met, but I've heard so much about you. Tyler is just devastated about this funding situation. I'm sure there's been some misunderstanding. I deleted the message without listening to the rest. By evening, Tyler showed up at my apartment building. The doorman called up. Ms. Anderson, there's a Tyler Anderson here to see you. Says he's your brother. Tell him I'm not available. He says it's an emergency. Tell him to make an appointment. The doorman's voice became uncomfortable. Ma'am, he's crying in the lobby. Should I call security? I closed my eyes. Send him up. When I opened the door, Tyler looked like he hadn't slept. His Wharton hoodie was wrinkled, his hair uncombed, his eyes red-rimmed. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He walked past me into my small apartment, looking around with visible confusion. 1 bedroom, basic furniture, nothing fancy. This was where his sister, apparently worth hundreds of millions, chose to live. I don't understand any of this, he said finally. If you have this kind of money, why do you live like this? Because I'm comfortable here. I don't need luxury to validate my existence. But you could have anything. A mansion, a sports car, designer, everything. Instead you're in this. He gestured vaguely. This apartment that's 2 miles from my office and perfectly suited to my needs. He sank onto my couch. I've spent the last 6 hours researching you. Or trying to. It's like you barely exist online. No social media, no public profiles. But I found some things. Security conference proceedings with your name listed as a presenter. DoD contract awards with your company mentioned in footnotes. A few academic citations in aerospace journals. So you're not just working some boring government job. You're doing classified work at the highest levels. You're a defense contractor, a geospatial intelligence specialist, whatever that means. You're published in academic journals. You're important. I've always been important, Tyler. You just never noticed. He flinched. You're right. I didn't. None of us did. We were so focused on my trajectory, my success, my future that we never stopped to ask about yours. No, you didn't. The funding. Anderson Digital Solutions. That name isn't a coincidence, is it? You named your investment vehicle after our family. I named it after the family I wished we were. One that supported each other. And we failed you. Completely. He looked up at me, tears streaming down his face. Sophie, I know I don't deserve your help. I know I've taken you for granted my entire life. But I'm asking anyway. Please don't pull this funding. Give me a chance to make this right. How? How would you make it right, Tyler? I don't know. I'll tell everyone the truth. I'll announce that you've been my angel investor, that every success I've had is because of you. I don't want announcements. I don't want credit. I wanted a brother who valued me before he knew I had money. I do value you. You value my money. There's a difference. He stood up, pacing. Okay, you're right. But Sophie, think about my employees. 23 people who have nothing to do with our family dysfunction. They're going to lose their jobs because Mom uninvited you from a party. They're going to lose their jobs because you built a company on unstable funding and failed to plan for contingencies. We had 3 years of stability. You gave us no indication that the funding might disappear. Life gives no such indications either. That's why successful businesses diversify. He stopped pacing. You're really going to let my company die? I'm really going to withdraw my investment. What happens next is up to you. What does that mean? I walked to my desk and pulled out a folder. These are contact names. 3 legitimate venture capital firms that might be interested in your technology. 2 corporate acquirers who've been circling similar companies. 1 accelerator program that could provide bridge funding. Tyler took the folder with shaking hands. Why would you give me this if you're pulling your funding? Because I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm trying to teach you that success requires more than just showing up with your hand out. You need to fight for your company. Prove it's worth saving. How? I have 2 weeks until we miss payroll. No VC firm moves that fast. Then you'll have to get creative. Maybe Ashley's father really is interested in your technology. Maybe you pitch him at your graduation party, the one I won't be attending because I'm an embarrassment. The words landed like a slap. Tyler's face crumpled. I never said you were an embarrassment. You didn't have to. You agreed with Mom and Dad that my presence would reflect poorly. That's the same thing. I was wrong. We were all wrong. Sophie, you're the most successful person in our entire family. You've built something extraordinary and we were too blind and too obsessed with appearances to see it. You're only seeing it now because you need something from me. That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time you called just to talk? When's the last time you asked about my life, my work, my happiness? You only reach out when you need money or connections or help with something. He opened his mouth then closed it. Because he couldn't answer. As I was right. I have a proposal, I said finally. I'll give you 60 days. In that time you secure alternative funding for your company. You go to Ashley's father, you pitch those VC firms, you do whatever it takes to prove your business is viable without my money. And if I can't? Then your company wasn't sustainable to begin with and I saved you from a slower, more painful collapse. What about the bridge? Can you at least keep us afloat while I search for funding? No. This is your company, Tyler. Time to see if you can actually run it without a safety net. His face went pale. You're serious? You're going to let us fail? I'm going to let you stand on your own. Sink or swim. That's cruel. Is it? Or is it finally treating you like an adult instead of a child who needs everything handed to him? Tyler left my apartment without another word. The folder clutched in his hands, his future suddenly uncertain. I didn't hear from him for 3 days. The graduation party happened on Saturday. I spent the day at my office, running simulations for a classified satellite deployment. My phone buzzed periodically with texts from relatives asking where I was, why I'd missed Tyler's big day. I didn't respond to any of them. On Monday, James called. Sophie, Tyler's lawyer, filed an emergency injunction trying to block the withdrawal. The judge denied it this morning. The funding has been officially dissolved. Good. Any other movement? Actually, yes. Tyler secured a meeting with Richard Hendricks at the graduation party. Pitched him directly. Hendricks expressed interest but wanted to see your original investment terms and performance metrics. And Tyler's lawyer reached out requesting copies of all documentation related to your investment. With your permission, I'd like to provide them. Why? Because the metrics are strong. Your funding turned a failing startup into a viable company. If Hendricks sees those numbers, he might actually invest. I considered this. Send the documentation. Redact my personal identifying information but leave the performance data intact. You're helping him? I'm providing factual information to a potential investor. What happens next is up to Tyler. 2 weeks later I got a text from Tyler. Hendricks invested. $4.2 million. Better terms than yours actually. Company saved. No thanks to you. I smiled at the screen and didn't reply. 3 days after that Mom called. Sophie, we need to talk about what you did to your brother. What I did? Pulling your funding. He almost lost everything because you were petty about a party invitation. He didn't lose anything. He found new funding. Barely. He had to scramble and beg and pitch investors at his own graduation party because you abandoned him. I didn't abandon him. I stopped enabling him. That's not, Sophie, you don't understand. The stress nearly killed him. He barely slept for 2 weeks. Ashley's father said he'd never seen someone so desperate. And yet he succeeded. He secured better funding with better terms. Sounds like the stress was productive. How can you be so cold about this? He's your brother. He's my brother who agreed I was too embarrassing to attend his graduation. I'm just surprised he still wants to claim me as family. Silence. Then, that's what this is about. Sophie, that was just what? Just honest? Just practical? Just a reminder that no matter what I achieve, I'll never be good enough for this family. That's not true. Isn't it? Mom, I'm worth $290 million. I work on classified defense projects that keep this country safe. I've built a portfolio that most hedge fund managers would envy. And you didn't want me at Tyler's party because I'd make you look bad. We didn't know you were wealthy. Exactly. You only valued me for what I had, not who I was. And now that you know, you still can't just be proud of me. You're calling to scold me for teaching Tyler self-sufficiency. Teaching him, Sophie, you nearly destroyed his company. I withdrew my investment from a business whose success I no longer wanted to support. Tyler saved his company himself. That's the first real thing he's ever accomplished on his own. You're unbelievable. After everything we've done for you. Done for me? What exactly have you done for me, Mom? He sputtered. We raised you. We gave you a home and education. You gave me a childhood where I was valued less than Tyler. Where my achievements were cute, while his were celebrated. Where I was expected to support his dreams while mine were dismissed. The only thing you gave me was motivation to succeed despite you, not because of you. How dare you? We sacrificed everything for you kids. You sacrificed for Tyler. I was just there. I hung up. It's been 4 months since Tyler's graduation party that I didn't attend. His company is thriving. The Hendricks investment brought credibility, which brought more investors, which brought acquisition interest. Last week, a tech giant offered $47 million for Anderson Digital Solutions. Tyler called to tell me personally. I'm taking the deal, he said. It's life-changing money. I'll actually be wealthy now. Congratulations. Sophie, I need to say something. These past 4 months, running the company without your safety net, I've learned more about business than I did in 2 years at Wharton. I learned what it means to actually fight for something. To fail and adapt and persist. That's good, Tyler. And I learned that I've been a terrible brother. Not just about the party. About everything. My whole life I've taken you for granted. Assumed you'd always be there, always be supportive, always be okay with being secondary to my ambitions. You have been a terrible brother, I agreed. He laughed, surprised. No argument. Why would I argue with the truth? Fair enough. Look, I know I can't fix this with one phone call. But I want to try. I want to be a better brother. If you'll let me. That's going to take time. Years probably. And it requires fundamental changes in how you see me. I see you now. Really see you. For the first time I understand what you've built, what you've accomplished. And I'm in awe. You're in awe of my money. I'm in awe of you. The money is just evidence of something I should have recognized years ago. You're brilliant, driven, and strong enough to build an empire without anyone's help or approval. I was quiet for a long moment. The acquisition. When it closes, what are you going to do? I don't know yet. Maybe start another company. Maybe take some time off, figure out what I actually want versus what everyone expects of me. Why? Because if you do start another company and if you can prove you've learned from this experience, I might consider investing again. On proper terms this time. With full disclosure, regular board meetings, and mutual respect. Really? After everything I put you through? Family gets a second chance, Tyler. But only one. Don't waste it. I won't. I promise. We'll see if he keeps that promise. I'm cautiously optimistic but not naive. Some people change. Some people just get better at pretending. Mom and Dad are another story. We haven't spoken since that last phone call. They're furious that I won't just hand Tyler more money, furious that I embarrassed them by revealing my wealth, furious that I won't pretend the party incident never happened. I'm not holding my breath for an apology. Last week I bought a house. Not a mansion, just a comfortable 3-bedroom in Arlington with a home office and a yard. First property I've ever lived in myself. Tyler sent flowers with a note. Congratulations on the house. I'm proud of you. It's a small gesture. Probably meaningless in the grand scheme of our complicated history. But I put the flowers in a vase anyway. Because sometimes the smallest movements are the beginning of real change. And sometimes, a $3.8 million withdrawal is exactly the catalyst a family needs to finally see each other clearly.